If you're going to do a lore video, research it. I've been doing them for 5 years. I've been doing lore videos for 5 years. And you know what I do before every single one? Even if I've read the series, I quadruple check all the information. And judging by this dislike ratio, which I added to, they did not do that. And it's not even like major things. It's freaking like pronunciations, which, by the way, in the back of every single book is a pronunciation guide. And I know what you're thinking, Daniel, people get the pronunciation wrong. It's not that big a deal. Wait until you hear how they say this. All right, so let's, like, people who have not read Wheel of Time would have pronounced this better. So if you're going to make a lore breakdown trailer reaction, you need to do two things. You need to signify if you're going to give spoilers or not, which to their credit they do. And two, you need to carefully only give spoilers that are absolutely necessary and make sure everything you're spoiling is correct. I think, but that's not too much to ask.
Amazon Prime has released the first teaser trailer for The Wheel of Time, an adaptation of the epic fantasy series of the same name by Robert Jordan. The show follows Moiraine.
He literally says, more in. More in. I've heard a lot of Wheel of Time pronunciations. And here's the thing. I wouldn't give a shit about the pronunciations if they didn't screw up lore stuff, but you damned one, so I'm damning the other. Let's go a little deeper here.
Played by Rosamund Pike, a member of a group of female magic users named Aes Sedai on her quest to find the latest incarnation of the dragon.
Dragon Reborn, but nothing too bad there.
A powerful champion prophesied to either save the world or destroy it.
Yep.
Jordan's best-selling series spanned 14 books,
15.
Published between 1990 and 2013, 3 of which were completed by longtime fan and fantasy author Brandon Sanderson after Jordan's death in 2007.
What I will say is I don't mind the 14 verse 15 thing. That's more a meme on my channel. Because, like, if you don't read New Spring, that's fine. Like, I like New Spring a lot. I think it's a great addition to the series. But, like, at 14-book series, I get it. People are going to pick up the 15th. I'm just correcting him to be an asshole.
The books are huge and filled with detailed world building involving hundreds of characters from numerous nations and warring factions, many of whom wield magical powers with distinct rules. The trailer provides a glimpse of that complexity, so we're going to try to break it down and explain what's going on.
Except they don't just explain the lore in the trailers. I mean, they spoil stuff that just you don't need to even f***ing talk about. All right.
Spoilers follow for the books and possibly the show.
It results in this weird combination where, like, you have... What you end up having is, like, they spoil something, and they spoil in a way where they're kind of wrong. But, like, they still spoiled something. It's... Oh, God damn it. Yeah, Aes Sedai is harder to pronounce than Moiraine. They say Aes Sedai perfectly, but then they call her Moiraine.
The trailer opens with Nynaeve Almera, played by Zoe Robbins, telling Egwene Alvear, played...
Those were all right. Those were well within the ballpark of fine.
In the books, Nynaeve is the Wisdom, a healer and leader of women of the farming village of Emmons Field.
Again, I'm not going to give him too much crap for that, because that I've heard it pronounced that way. I almost just said pronounced that way. So I'm not that. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's.
Both are powerful channelers, able to wield the one power to perform magic.
That was something you didn't need to spoil in the fucking trailer. Okay, so that's what's bothering me. That's what's bothering me. Getting into this trailer, at no point did they need to spoil that. That was just a bad thing to spoil. It's not relevant to any visual in the trailer for someone coming into it, and it's a big deal for people getting into the series. So you don't need to do that. Like, if you are going to do this kind of thing, that is something that's a big deal for the story early on. It's not relevant to the trailer now, and now you just ruined that. Because that's like a key character moment for these characters right now. For the first season. Like, these two realizing they can channel, big deal. Big deal for them. And now the tension, the stakes of that, the dynamic between Nynaeve and Moiraine. One of my favorite things about the dynamic of them early on is slowly realizing Nynaeve can channel, and like that moment where Moiraine is like, the reveal of that, the tension of that, gone. And instead you just know going in, oh, okay, they're going to end up being channelers. So Okay, all right, yeah, it's fine.
This is Emmons Field, a farming village
Now he said it right. Wait, I'm not. Hold up. Did he just?
telling Egwene Alvear, played by Madeline Madden, to be strong before pushing her off a cliff. In the books, Nynaeve is the Wisdom, a healer and leader of women of the farming village of Emmons Field. And
Emmons
Egwene
Field
is the daughter of the village's mayor. Both are powerful channelers, able to wield the
Be
one power
consistent.
to perform magic. This is Emmons Field,
Then he says it right.
farming village located in the Two Rivers region of Western Andor. The Eye of the World, the first book in the Wheel of Time series, begins in Emmons Field, and many of the series' most important characters grew up there. Jordan based it in part on the Shire from The Lord of the Rings,
all
which
true.
was a huge inspiration on the series in general.
Yeah, this is all stuff I'm fine with being here. This is the kind of stuff their content should have been right here. And they did say, no, I get what you're saying, Nano Tyrant. I get what you're saying. They did say spoilers for the books follow. But yeah, I agree. But why make that kind of video with spoilers anyway? I disagree. It's okay to do a spoiler video if you're just doing stuff that's like, here is Emmons Field. It's based off of this. It's relevant for these reasons. But don't spoiler narrative and character things. Spoiler lore, things like that. That's fine with. And they just, it's a big corporation. They don't give a shit. So they're just doing whatever. But this information's fine. This is fine.
This appears to be Alakir Mandragon,
No.
holding the Golden Crane signet ring.
No. This is like, okay, this is actually a big deal wrong. I get why this mistake happened. Because it's a changed, modified interpretation of an Aes Sedai ring. But if you just check the casting, no. And that is an Aes Sedai ring. Which tells me they are so disconnected from the fan base. Because the fan base, since that trailer dropped, and since even some images earlier, have been like saying, oh, this is the new Aes Sedai ring. So they didn't connect with the fans at all. I think they're trying to do the same style book did breakdowns for Marvel stuff, comic book adaptations, where it's generally considered fair game to spoil from everything related to characters in the comics, but it doesn't translate well here because this will assumedly be more direct adaptation rather than that's actually a really great point. I like this point here a lot by Zoroark 173. I didn't think about that, and I think you're exactly right. And this is the thing where it's like they're spoiling stuff and they are wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's spoiled now and you're wrong. So okay. Fine. Daniel, they just read the first 2 pages. No, I mean, they obviously had... Here's what I think happened. They had someone who early on, or in some step of the process, was a fan. And they wrote a probably pretty dense script. And then it got cut way down. And then it got edited. And then it got through editors in a video process. And it got in the vocal booth. And they had feedback and changes. And I think that changed a lot. And I would assume the person who actually saw get the writing credit at the beginning would also probably be a bit bothered by this video.
Malkir fell, Alakir passed his ring to his son, Lan Mandragoran, and sent him away.
I didn't even catch that pronunciation my first time through this video. What did he just say?
His ring to his son, Lan Mandragoran.
It's literally spelled Okay, sorry. That's just like, I'm dyslexic. I'm usually very forgiving with pronunciations, but that was just all around wrong. Lan, okay.
And sent him away to safety. Egwene rises from the water streaked with paint in the colors of the factions of the Aes Sedai.
Major spoilers, major late series spoilers here that did not need to be in this video. If you aren't ready for that, get out.
Known as Aja. While almost all Aes Sedai join one of these groups, Egwene actually never does due to plot reasons. She is instead considered to be part of all of them.
I'll give them some credit there. That skirted a direct spoiler, but it also, as soon as you are finishing like book 1 or book 2, you'll have enough context that if you remember this line, you'll be like, oh, okay, she does that. Like, that is... 1, absolutely not needed for this trailer at all. I absolutely 100,000 million% did not need to be in this trailer in any context. So the fact that they put it in, all it means is you're going to have the very unsatisfying thing where you're going to like realize what's going on in the books at like book 2 or maybe book 3. And you're going to go like, oh, that's what's going to happen then. Oh. Okay, thanks, IGN. So it kills the momentum. Like, dude, and that's what's so frustrating about this video. It was almost good. Like, this video was almost good. If they had changed the wording, it would have been fine. And I actually would have been psyched to see IGN cover the Wheel of Time. I would have been like, cool. I liked seeing them do this. It would have been a nice thing. But now it's just like this as a fan, like, dude, give the series the respect it deserves as one of the best-selling fantasy series of all time by one of the most respected authors who's no longer with us, and do 10 minutes of research on pronunciations. If they had just fixed the pronunciations and screwed up the lore and the other stuff, I wouldn't have been mad. If they had just screwed that stuff up but done the pronunciations fine, I would have been like, all right, I get it. But it's the combination that just shows such a lack of effort.
The Central Council of Aes Sedai, responsible for making policies and exercising the will of their leader.
I would have been fine with the video focusing on this stuff. And hey, IGN, if you want to hit the 7-minute mark, which their video's at, you could have easily filled the whole video with stuff like this, and people would have loved it. Yeah, it's really funny that they got Egwene and Nynaeve flawlessly, but they screw up Lan.
The Amirlan seat.
Okay, let's talk about that
responsible for
pronunciation.
making policies and exercising the will of their leader, the Amirlan seat.
I'm trying to figure out how you would pronounce it that way. Like, I'm trying to picture how the word's spelled. I can understand that one, I think, a little bit. I think I actually, I get that. I get it. All right, that's fine. But also, I think anyone who, let's watch this in sequence. Anyone who's not brain dead will figure out exactly what Egwene becomes. Because, watch this sequence here. They literally are structurally, if you have a brain, you'll figure out what Egwene becomes by the trailer.
Egwene rises from the water streaked with paint in the colors of the factions of the Aes Sedai known as Aja. While almost all Aes Sedai join one of these groups, Egwene actually never does due to plot reasons. She is instead
what's she
considered to be part
become?
of all of them. Aes Sedai go through a
all of
trial
them.
in which they confront fears from their past, present, and future.
So she goes
this
through the
scene
training.
could represent that, with paint showing her unusual future within the organization.
Oh,
3 representatives from each Aja are chosen to sit in the Hall of the Tower. The Central Council of Aes Sedai, responsible for making policies and exercising the will of their leader, the Amirlan seat.
Oh, so she becomes the Amerlin. That is so... they tried to skirt the spoiler. And then, in my opinion, feel free to disagree. Maybe I'm just too familiar with the series. Anyone who's paying attention is going to be like, oh, she's going to do that. Oh yeah, she's going to be that. Cool.
While Aes Sedai in the books are just described as wearing shawls indicating the color of their Aja, the show seems to have been more aggressive in color coding for your convenience.
That's not true. No, Aes Sedai throughout the books often wear their colors. That's just a blatant not truth. They're not as aggressive as this. I will agree with them. They're not always this aggressive. But look at the cover of Eye of the World, bro. I am dressed how a Yellow's Tuesday is. This is what a yellow would be like. Hi.
The Amerlin seat, who was originally a member of the Blue Aja.
Did they just say it differently again?
Plays Swan Sanchez. The Amerlin seat, who was
what is with their pronunciations?
3
What is
representatives
happening?
from each Aja are chosen to sit in the Hall of the Tower. The Central Council of Aes Sedai, responsible for making policies and exercising the will of their leader, the Amirlan seat.
Okay, so it had to be, right? It had to be that someone was telling them, oh, you got this wrong. Please go back and fix your pronunciations. And they probably did re-recording, but they only re-recorded, he only re-recorded some of it. And not the rest, because effort. They're casting their net wide. That's great. Yeah, they're going we'll do multiple pronunciations.
Academy Award nominee Sophie Okanedo plays Swan Sanchez.
She's a great actress, by the way. If you have not seen her other stuff, she's fantastic.
The Amerlin seat, who was originally a member of the Blue Aja. She's good friends with Moraine and works with her to try to find the Dragon Reborn.
And yeah, he also just said Moraine right. And also on top of that, it is a major spoiler, too.
Of the Blue Aja. She's good friends with Moraine and works with her to try to find the Dragon Reborn.
She just said it right now.
A member of the Blue Aja. She's good friends with Moraine and
now he says it. What happened to Moraine? Is Moraine dead? So now if I've come in and I haven't read the books, this is true. I'm going to be going, okay, Moraine, it's about Moraine finding the Dragon Reborn at the beginning. And then at this point, I'm going to go, she's friends with Moraine. Who's Moraine? Huh.
The one power is described as a river of power. An Aes Sedai must surrender to its flow in order to channel. Egwene floating in a river is likely part of her training to use her abilities.
That's just the first thing that they're getting, like, no, absolutely wrong. Like, and that's actually something you can figure out by the context of the trailer. I go back to the beginning here, and I look, okay, Egwene looks here.
In order to channel.
She looks here. Look at that color of the dress and everything. Exactly the same she looks here. So, no, I'm just going to use the context of this to say, and if I'm anyone who's even read a little bit of the Wheel of Time, even like just a tiny amount, to say, oh, this is her coming into the women's circle stuff. And so that's just like, dude, look at your own script, man.
Of power. An Aes Sedai must surrender to its flow in order to channel.
This is interesting. So the show, I think, quite nicely is using this women's circle ceremony to foreshadow, to set up Egwene's ability to channel later on. Like, they're actually, I think this is I actually like that during the trailer. It seemed like a very nice foreshadowing representation of Egwene's future. And we see that with the colors and her coming out. It's very beautifully done. And that foreshadowing has tricked IGN into thinking, oh, this is actually a part of her training because they read somewhere, or someone who was involved in writing the script is like, they have to surrender to water, like a river, like a flow. And so they're watching this foreshadowing going, literally, she must surrender to the water? Like, that's what he's saying, right? Like, that's what he's saying. This is a part of her training to surrender to the water. That's kind of funny that, like, I think that's happening.
A member of the Green Ajah, the warriors of the Aes Sedai, heals a nasty injury on Moraine. Channelers produce a white glow when using their power.
That is, again, kinda, but no. That's a no. That's a no-ski-doski right there, because it's lacking so much context, it kind of becomes wrong. Yes, they do give off an aura to other people who can channel and can tell when they're doing it. Otherwise, absolutely not. And I just, like, again, like, IGN should have been, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, if I was like them, I would have been caring about padding my runtime and getting more ads in and stuff, so I would have, like, included information like that. So the fact that they didn't is, like, kind of odd to me. And the weaves shouldn't be solid white. So, like, if you are talking about the weaves and their colors, and you're basing this off the books, again, that's wrong. They're not just white.
Cutting them off from the ability to access the one power, either killing or stilling them.
No, they don't still them, they gentle them. I mean, that's a very understandable mistake, though. I'm not going to be mad about that. I'm not mad about that. That's a very understandable mistake.
The Red Ajah is tasked with finding male channelers and either killing or stilling them, permanently cutting them off from the ability to access the one power.
It's
Priyanka.
It's not that, but whatever.
Green Ajah often have multiple ones, while Red have none at all.
Yep, well, that's fine. That's all fine. And again, they should have just filled the video with stuff like that. That would have been awesome. Because that's kind of stuff that a lot of people won't probably, because, like, let's be honest, a lot of people who watch the Wheel of Time are going to be on their phone and scrolling. And so when this information is dropped once and carefully and cleverly by writers, they won't be paying attention. So I actually like it when videos like this exist to help those people who don't pay that attention actually follow along.
During the Eye of the World, Matt picks up a ruby-hilted dagger in the cursed city of Shadar Lagoth.
Why would you spoil that? Why would you spoil that? There is absolutely no reason to clarify what's going on here. To someone who has not watched or read the series, this image does not tell you that. All that this image tells you is, hey, there's a guy who picks up a dagger. Maybe it's important. To then clarify, he takes a cursed dagger from Shadar Logoth. Sorry, how do you say it?
During the Eye of the World, Matt picks up a ruby-hilted dagger in the cursed city of Shadar Lagoth.
He picks up a dagger in the cursed city of Shadar Logoth. Is like just way... Why say it's cursed? Why? Because that takes away all the narrative tension if you're reading the books or watching the show. You're like, oh, I wonder if Matt will do it. Is he going to be stupid enough? Is it actually going to have consequences? And then you're just like, yep, that's now everyone knows for sure. Cool.
The dagger makes him both physically sick and paranoid and can also quickly kill anyone cut by it.
This is the dumbest, like, nitpick I've had yet. But technically, any knife you can quickly kill someone with a cut. I mean, every knife can technically quickly kill someone, with a little bit of a stab. It's just my 2 cents. Like, that's the dumbest, like, yeah, that knife can indeed murders. Wait, hold up. This knife can't. This knife, this is slow deaths only knife, actually, so.
Perrin is a wolf brother able to physically communicate.
Do not include that. Why would you say that? That is, again, if you're going to do a spoiler video for a show that is not out, you spoil lore things. Why in the world would you tell the entire audience, actually, Perrin's big secret reveal throughout this book, and one of the main things about his character that's going to actually be interesting, like the mystery, find out why are these wolves connected to him. He's a wolf brother, so that's ruined now. Appreciate that.
With wolves. Soon after he discovers this ability, his eyes change from brown to yellow, and
his name is Perrin Golden Eyes. His name's Perrin Golden. Okay. No, he's got piss color eyes, everybody. He's got piss color eyes, actually.
And he gains enhanced senses.
Yeah, they are described. Oh no, they are described as both yellow and gold in the books. Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a problem with that. I just, like, if you're going to label them one of the two, call him Perrin Golden Eyes. Don't say it's Perrin Yellow Eyes. Like, that's just so much less cool. Like, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, like, no, he's Perrin Piss Eyes. This is what we're calling him now.
Rand's childhood best friend Egwene is Rand's
Okay. I think Matt and Perrin might have an issue with that label. I just imagine them hurting the corner like, yeah, it's fine. She's the best friend. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just being a dick now. I'm sorry.
And he gains enhanced senses. Primary love interest in the early books.
Spoiling that it's not for later. Thank you, IGN. Appreciate it. You just spoiled major things later on that absolutely didn't need to be talked about.
They seem to be sharing an intimate moment while camping at Shadar Logoth.
What? Has anyone thought that this is at Shadar Logoth? So, wait. I'm actually concerned. Have I been missing this discussion? Like, I'm not saying they're wrong. Has anyone been saying that in the middle of this cursed city, Rand and Egwene are like, hey, you want to go There's no way people are saying that. Like, there's lit chandeliers. It's not like they went around and lit a bunch of chandeliers in Shadar Logoth and were like, let's make it feel homey. What would happen to a baby conceived in Shadar Logoth? That would be absolutely terrifying. God knows what would happen.
Lan becomes Moraine's warder and accompanies her.
Again, technically right, but the way you're saying it makes it seem as if we're going to see these events in the show, and I don't know if that's maybe. I mean, we could see Moraine. I'm not criticizing this. We could see Moraine make Lan her warder in the show. It's just a strange thing to jump to the conclusion to in the trailer. I mean, I would like to see that moment. Hey, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't like to see that in the show. I would love to see like flashbacks of Moraine and Lan getting to know each other and her bonding him.
While we don't get a particularly clear look at them, this is an army of Trollocs. Vicious.
Again, thank you so much for the follow. I love you. Again, a pronunciation I have never heard.
The world. While we don't get a particularly clear look at them, this is an army of Trollocs.
Trollocs. So that's understandable. Like, I'm not going to give them crap for that. That's a very understandable, because, okay, I'm going to give this narrator a massive benefit of the doubt. Because if I'm like, okay, I'm reading a fantasy script. Oh, it's like a spin on an evil fantasy creature. Troll, troll, ox. Okay, Trollocs. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm gonna give. You got my sympathy there. That's an understandable. If I saw an ox-based Trolloc, I would go, that's a Trollocs.
Moraine, Lan, and 5 residents of Emmons Field set out after this battle and begin their epic adventures. That's everything we spotted in the trailer.
But like, okay, that's my issue. That's everything you spotted in the trailer, dude. Over half the things you said are not details in the trailer. The prime example is you just look at Rand and Egwene here, and you just spoil that they don't end up together. You just spoil that. That's not... It just bugs me because it's like you are adding confusion to a fantasy world that's going to be extremely difficult to to already clarify and convey to a massive amount of people. Like, I don't envy the writers of the Wheel of Time the task of actually having to sit down and convey all this lore. It's difficult. And this is muddying the water. It makes it harder. And they're spoiling Tel'Vaeren. I didn't even pick up on that. So I don't know. There's just stuff like that where it's just frustrating. Obviously, it's not that big a deal. Like, right, I'm blowing up over something because I'm just a nerd. But this is disappointing. This is bad. I'm disappointed, IGN. But I didn't expect better.